Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Governor. Welcome back to Pure Sims Fashion channel. Please, if you are new to the channel, kindly click on the subscribe button. And for those that are returning, thank you for joining us again. Remember to leave a like on the video if you enjoy the content and help us on our road to 200 subscribers. So today, I want to take you through this simple process of making the trouser trouser design you saw in the thumbnail to the video. All right, so this is my half-made trouser. Like, I've already made the trouser to some extent. So now it's time to attach the waistband, and the design in we are talking about is actually all about the waistband. All right, so after joining the back for this particular design, we have to join the back first before we continue. So I had already joined the back, taking into consideration the waist measurement of the person. So now we are going to confirm our measurements first. All right, so the measurement is confirmed now. This is 18.5, which is 37. Now we are going to measure the back. We are going to take the back measurement. It is the back measurement that will guide us to know what we are going to measure for that design that is on that waistband. Okay, so to get the back measurement now, we are going to measure from one side joining to the other side joining. All right, and here I have 18.5. okay, so now this is the piece I'm going to be using. This piece is separate from the waistband piece. All right, this is the piece for the waistband. This is for the waistband. Okay, now it is this one that is going to carry that other piece of fabric that we are going to use to control the adjustment that we're going to use for adjustment, whether we want the trouser to be tighter or free. So it's this piece that is going to house it. All right, so now since the back measurement is 18.5, it means this piece we have to make it 18.5 as well. But if you check that thumbnail very well, that picture, you would see that there is pleats on the design. Okay, so we are going to create our pleat, and I'm sure that majority of you already know how to create pleat. There's really nothing special about creating that kind of pleat. It's just you fold it like step by step. Okay, maybe I'll bring you a different video on how to create a pleat. All right, but I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm going to just go ahead with what I want you to know. Okay, so I've already created my pleats. As you can see, if you look closely, you will see that I have 3 steps here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and the same thing for the other side too. 1, 2, 3. So I'd already created my pleat, and if you take the measurements now, let's take these measurements and see whether it's up to what we need or more than what we need. So this is 18.5, right? From here to here, 18.5. That's exactly what we need. Okay, so if you turn it to the wrong side, you would see that I have excess fabric folding in on both sides of the of this piece. Okay, so what we are going to do with that is quite simple. We are going to get a piece of lining like this. I think I prefer suit lining because is more or less like thick nylons. You get like, I don't know how to say it, but you shall understand what I'm saying. Like suit lining is a little is it won't cause friction. Okay, so I'm going to cut the lining according to the size of what I need now. So I've already cut it to the size I want, and I cut it to be a little bit shorter than the actual length. You understand? Because I want this allowance to pull the lining inwards so that the lining will not easily show from outside. All right, so what we are going to do now is that I'm going to go to my sewing machine, and I'm going to attach this lining to this piece of fabric. This is how I'm going to do it. All right, this is the right side of this lining. Okay, and this is one end of it. So I'm going to turn this right side to face this excess fabric here like this. Okay, aligning that end. This is one end of the lining. I align these two ends like this. So I'm going to stitch straight like this, like just this, stitch it straight like this. Okay, from here down, straight down like this. Maybe 0.5, maybe 0.25, I don't know, depending on you, but me, I'm probably going to use 0.5 or 0.25, I mean, sorry, not 0.5. So once I do that, so I will now have something like this, right? So it means if I move it this way, I will now have something like this. Okay, so the place that I have joined it will not be showing, my stitch will not be showing outside. So I will take this other hand too and do the same thing for this side, like align it this way, bring it out from here and stitch. Okay, once I do that, so I will now have something like this. This place will be folded inwards, this place too will be folded inwards, and to be pulled like this. So we now give it a proper ironing. We are not going to block either of this side. We are not blocking this side. We are not blocking this side yet. So let's go and do that, and I'll come back to you now. So let me confess my sins. I forgot to tell you that you have to go and secure the pleat you made. All right, all those pleats that we did for both sides, we needed to stitch it down before turning this with the lining. So when I went to sew this, I did that first, like I stitched it down, but you will not see any of the stitch outside. Okay, so now this is the thing we went to do. This is how I eventually do it. I turned this piece to the right side, and I ensured that the right side of this lining is facing it. So I just joined it to this fabric on both ends. Now we are just going to turn it inside out like this. Okay, so and we have what we are trying to get. All right, so I'll go ahead and give it a good iron now. Okay, so the ironing is done. So you can see, look at what we have now. Now you see that there's a little clearance here and there's a little clearance here. So nobody would be able to easily see that there is a lining inside. They will just wonder, this thing is neat, how come? You get? So this is settled for now. We are going to put it aside. All right, so the next thing is that we take our waistband piece. Okay, turn it to the right side, and we iron it, we fold it equally, iron it out, ensuring that there is a gator line. You get? Or better still, you can just leave it like this first. Let's erase this line first. Okay, so now we are going to fold it into 2 equal halves to get the center point. Okay, then we take this piece also, fold it into 2 equal halves to get the center point. So upon getting the center point, we open this one up again, right, and align this center line. Ensure that the 2 center line, please, this is the right side of this waistband. This is the right side of this waistband, and this is the right side of this piece that we are using to hide this stuff. Okay, so you see, this one will now be on top of this, like this. Alright, once we are sure that it is properly aligned, we are going to use pin to hold it in place. So after using the pin to hold it in place in the center like this, I am going to look at what I will do. I'm going to open this place a little and use pin to hold this lining to this place here, and I'll do the same thing here, and I'll probably do the same thing this down part on both sides too. So once that is done, now we will now go to the sewing machine, and what we are going to do is that, you see, we are going to open this place up like this. Okay, open this place up. You see this gator line that marks the end of this thing. That is where we are going to stitch, all right, inside like this, and the same thing for the other side. But note, we are not stitching from beginning to the end. This is the mathematics we are using here now. You know that the total weight of this waistband piece is 4 inches, right? Here I have 4.25, all right, and the total weight of this waistband after folding it and attaching it is going to be 1.5. okay, that means if we fold this into 2 now, there will be 2 inches on both sides. So now the part that will be inside, that will be on the wrong part, like inside the trouser, you are going to block it on this end. So you are going to only leave the part that will be outside, all right? You will not block the part that will be outside. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that, so that there will be no long talk, so you will not be confused, this waistband is going to be 1.5 inches wide, right? So 1.5 inches times 2, that is 1.5 inches outside, 1.5 inches inside. Unfold, you get? If it's unfold 1.5 inches, that means if you open it up, that is 3 inches, right? But we need sewing allowance on both sides, so there is half an inch sewing allowance on both sides, which will bring the total weight of the waistband to 4 inches. Okay, so now 4 inches divided by 2 will give us 2 inches, right? So we are going to measure. If we open this up now, we will measure 2 inches. Okay, we'll measure the 2 inches and chalk it here, and we'll do the same thing for the other side. So when we start stitching from the beginning, we are going to stop on that 2 inches mark for both sides, right? We will not block the remaining parts. Sure you get? So I'll go and do that and come back. So we'll continue. Everything will soon make sense. Don't worry. So you can see I've gone ahead to do that. Look, this place is already blocked, but the remaining half of it is open. All right. The same thing with this side. This place is already blocked. The remaining part of it is opened. So we will remove these pins now. Okay. We can still leave this one because this one, it still has another pin. I'm keeping it there for. Alright. So this now, we can now iron this part. So we now turn this to the other side now, and then we'll go and stitch close to this edge. You know, this is the real waistband. All this one is just excess from this other fabric that we're using to cover it. Okay, so we are to stitch from here straight down to here. Okay, so I'll go and do that now. You are stitching, remember you are stitching close to the end of this waistband, just to cover this and just to hold it in place. It's not even a serious stitch. You can use gather stitch to just hold it. It's just to hold it in place. So I hope you are still with me. Now I've gone ahead to do that. So I will just, iron it down now. While waiting for the iron to warm up, what we are now going to do is that, you know that this back, we measured from one side to the other side to get the total measurement of the back before. So now we now need half of the back measurement. So we are going to measure from this center line, the center line of the back to the side. So according to what I have here, I have 9.25. Okay, so 9.25, that means we are going to need elastic that is 9.25 inches long. So just add maybe 0.5 to it for sewing allowance. So you measure that, so 9.75 now. In short, 10. Okay. So cut out that 10 inches. Alright. So now the iron is hot, is hot now. So let me just go ahead to iron this. So I'll just trim out this the excess of this one that is under. I'm not touching the waistband itself, just this excess material we used to cover the waistband. I'll trim out the excess of it. The next thing we're going to do now is that we want to create the how do I call it? We want to create something that we will use to adjust the trouser, something that will hold the elastic in place, that we can use to adjust the tightness of the waist of the trouser, just as you see in the picture of the design we are trying to create. Okay, so now what I went ahead to do is that I took, this is add collar stay, alright. So I made it, the total weight is 1.25 inches and the length is about 11 inches. It's too long, right? I'm still going to cut it, so I just did it that way. So now, after cutting it, making sure you have two pieces, and you can even use one piece if you want to stitch it one by one. Okay, then you give it the shape you want, and now we gum it to the fabric on the wrong side. That is going to be on the wrong side of the fabric. Underneath the fabric, you put if you have adequate fabric, you just fold the fabric into two, right? But I don't have adequate fabric, so I had to put black lining underneath, so that is what I will use to turn it in. So now that we have gummed this to this add stay to the fabric, now we will now go and stitch around it following this curve here. Alright, we'll stitch around it, not on top of it, around it. This is just to give us the shape that we need. Once we finish what we want to do with it, we are going to remove it. Okay, so I'll go and do that and I'll come back to you. Alright, so this is done now. Now, as you can see, it's already in place. So on the wrong side of this thing now, I'm going to just stop paper stay. Okay, and the reason why I'm putting it is because, once I turn it inside out, this place is going to carry buttonhole. So I just want to use this to give it a little strength, so that it will be able to carry the buttonhole. That is all. Okay, so now that this is done, so the next thing we are going to do now is to cut it out. Like, we are going to cut out these two, okay? We are going to cut around the stitch we made. Okay, so I will go ahead and do that, and then we'll continue. Okay, so this is it. I've done the necessary thing. Alright, you will notice that around this curve, the fabric that is there is not as much as those that are on this straight part. That is because you need to reduce the volume, the fabric around the curve, so that you can be able to get a better curve. Alright, so now we can now go ahead to remove this. Okay, so you remove this now, and then we'll turn this one inside out. So after turning this inside out, and I gave it a proper ironing, so this is what we have. Alright, now we are going to take the waistband piece that we were making the other time before. Okay, this is it. Now remember, we already created space for this thing to fit into, so that we will know the quantity we need. This is the center. Okay, so we are going to fit this way and stretch it out. This is the end of that bracket we created for it, and that means if we use this exact length, this is how much of this stuff will be protruding. Okay, which is too much. Now we adjust it according to what we want. So for me, I think this is okay. So I'm going to cut out the excess from here. Okay, so I can now go ahead to use this to cut these two. So thank you for staying with me up to this time. We're almost done. It's just we're trying to know how to create this thing, so we're almost done. Now you remember this is the elastic we cut the other time. Okay, so our next mission is to fit this elastic. Oh, sorry. So we are going to cut, this now, this measurement that we have here, it means these two has to touch each other here. Okay, for it to give us that result that we are hoping for. And coming to think of it, this one is looking a bit longer than this here. Or is it my mistake? So let's check. That is why it is necessary to confirm everything when it comes to tailoring. Okay, this is protruding by 1 inch, and this is protruding by 1 inch as well. So it's not longer, sorry. So now it means these two has to touch each other here. Okay, but if the two is touching each other here, how do this fit in? So we are going to create just a little space there. So we'll bring the two together like this and just cut out maybe like just a little. So we'll go ahead and you can go ahead and finish this place off properly, but I won't be doing that. It's not going to be visible anyways. What I would prefer to do is, if you have something like if you have what do you call it, lighter, just burn these edges a little. So now you remember this, right? So we are going to look for the center point of this. Okay, and then after getting the center point like that, we can use a biro or pencil to indicate it. Okay, then we fit it inside this place like this until it almost reaches this center. Okay, so I will go to this sewing machine now, and if you feel it, you'll be able to feel where this elastic ends here. So you are going to stitch it towards the end, like not at the end, it will easily remove, like maybe 0.5 inches towards where it ends. Okay, you stitch it down. All right, it's just that we're trying to make these edges properly finished. If not, we are supposed to like leave one edge, turn it, use it to open up this place and stitch this elastic to only the lining, or to only the lining, like the part that will not be showing if they pull it outside. All right, so you will do that, and then we'll also insert, we'll also do the same thing for this piece here. So let me go and do that, and I will come back and show you how it is. Okay, so you can see this is done. This elastic is only showing a little in the middle. You see, actually, to be candid, it does not have to even show. You can actually make this thing touch each other, but when you want to stitch the elastic to this fabric, you just pull it a little so that it can open up, and then you put it. But okay, I've done it this way, and this is fine. Now this is where I hold it down, and this is where I held it down here. So it means that if you pull it, the elastic will still function properly. So after we've done this now, the next thing we are going to do is that we are going to now fit in this. Okay, we are going to remove this gather stitch that we made here before. All right, I used gather stitch to hold this thing down before, so we can remove the stitch now. The reason for using the gather stitch is just to be able to trim that excess. All right, okay, so we open this place up like this. Now you will now go, we are not going to align this elastic in the center here with the center line of this waistband here. So once that is done, all right, push it up, okay, and then ensure that you have about 0.6 space here, because remember we are still going to attach this waistband by 0.5 to the trouser. Okay, so now we are going to go ahead and attach this. We are going to stitch this in the center here to this waistband material here. So I will go ahead and do that and come back to you. All right, okay, so I have done the necessary thing. Now you can see that this is in place now. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do now is to set these ones properly. After setting them, we'll just use pin to hold them down. Okay, we use the pin to hold it down outside where we can easily remove it, not inside. You don't have, once we close this place now, we don't have business with this part again. So we're already holding this down, so you can now go ahead and use your gather stitch to hold this place down again, back. All right, once we do that, the final step is that we are going to turn this to the other side like this. In fact, you see this one that we are about to do is something we should have done from the onset, okay? But because I don't want my stay, these stays nowadays, they don't gum properly. After you put them and you're then trying to do one or two things on the clothes, these stays will start coming off, and then you will have to be gumming and gumming and gumming again. So that's why I do not put it from the beginning. But normally you're supposed to have put the stay on the waistband material already from the beginning. But I am going to do that now. It's better late than never. All right, so remember that I said that the waistband is going to be 1.5 inches wide, and so here now I have a total of 4.25 inches, which means that half of it is 2.1. all right, so I am going to mark out my sewing allowance, which is 0.5 on the edge. Then I'm going to gum my stay, ensuring that it starts at that sewing allowance and ends in the center of the line. Please notice that this part that I blocked, for the waistband, when we are trying to create this thing that we created under, we blocked one part up to half, up to the center of the waistband, while the other part we left it open. It is that other part that we left open on both sides that this thing is coming out from now, this and here. Okay, so that means this part is the one that will be outside. This part that we have blocked on both sides here is the one that will be inside of the waistband. So that means that the stay that we are about to attach now will be on this part that will be outside. All right, that is, it will be on this part that will be outside. Not, I'm not saying you should put it on the right side. I hope you shall understand what I'm saying. If you don't understand, you will get it once we go along. All right, but this part that will be inside, the wrong part of it does not have to, is not going to have stay. It is the wrong part of the side that will be outside of the waistband that will carry the stay. Okay, so now I will mark out my sewing allowance now, and then I will apply the stay. Just stay with me. So you see what I was trying to say now. So I have attached the stay, okay, and you see the space I left. This is 0.5 inch wide. All right, so that is my sewing allowance. Now we can now go ahead to fold this into two now, just using that stay to guide ourselves. Okay, so I will go ahead and do that now, then we'll continue. Okay, so as you can see now, I've gone ahead to, I folded it, and then if you look closely, you will see a line on this. You will see a line on this. Okay, so I measured 0.75 from the center here to this place all round, and I chalked this round. That is where I'm going to cut off this inner part, because I want to use ready-made waistband, you understand, for the inner part. That is why you will see that this, I still have this label or whatever on this fabric here, because I know I'm going to cut it off. So if you know you are not going to cut your own off, if you want to use the fabric like that for the other side, so what you need to do is to just go and weave the edges. Okay, but for me, I'm going to use ready-made waistband for this inside part. So I'm going to cut off this place so that I will attach the ready-made waistband. So attaching that, we hide the edges of this one, and by the time I attach this front part to my trouser like this, you attach it like this, then turn it inside, attach this to the inside part. This will give us the proper finishing. So I hope this tutorial has been helpful to you. Please remember to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you have not done so, to help us on our way to 200 subscribers. We now have a functional belt now, so you can pull this. You can see the force self is dragging itself from it, so you can pull this, so all that is left is for you to make buttonhole here and here. Then you will put a button here and use it to hold it down. Then there will be another button a little bit away from here, maybe like 1 or 2 inches. You can even put 3 buttons. One will just hold it down here, then you put another one here, another one here. The same thing for this side, so that the person can be able to adjust the trouser whichever way they want. So you can see, I hope this tutorial is helpful. Thank you so much for staying with us. Till we see you in our next tutorial. I say peace, bye.